came down to this southern town last summer to show the folks a brand new way of life. But all you've shown the folks around here is trouble, and you've only added misery to their strife. Your concern is not to help the people, and I'll say again, though it's been often said, your concern is just to bring discomfort, my friend, and your policy is just a little red. Now ain't I right? Ain't you right? Ain't you right? It matters not to you how people suffer, and should they, you consider that a gain. You bring a lot of trouble to the town and then you leave. That's part of your communistic game. I detect a little communism. I can see it in the things you do. Communism, socialism, call it what you like. There's very little difference in the two. Now ain't I right? Ain't you right? Ain't you right? Your followers sometimes have been a bearded, bathless bunch. There's even been a minister or two, a priest, a nun, a rabbi, and an educated man have listened and been taken in by you. All the country's full of two-faced politicians who encourage you with words that go like this. Burn your draft card if you like, it's good to disagree. That's a get acquainted communistic kiss.
Just giving everybody time to get here.
One politician said it would be nice to send some blood and help the enemy in Vietnam. That's what he says, here's what I say, let's just keep the blood. Instead, let's send that politician man. Let's rid the country of the politicians who coddle tramps that march out in our street, protesting those who want to fight for freedom, my friend. This kind of leader makes our country weak. Now ain't I right? Ain't you right? Ain't you right? Let's look and find the strong and able leaders. It's time we found just how our neighbors stand. If we're to win this war with communism, let's fight it here as well as Vietnam. Let's rise as one and meet our obligations, so communistic boots will never trod.
Oh man, I love this song.
That were given to us with the blessing of our great almighty God. Across the fields of freedom that were given to us with the blessing of our great almighty God.
Good morning, everybody. I think I'm gonna start opening every show with that song, just because it was made half a century ago, and it is still, it's perfect. It's by Marty Robbins. It's called Ain't I Right? And man, it is. I cannot get enough of that song. So, when I start the streams in the morning, I think it's probably a good idea to just kind of allow the music to roll and, let everybody get in here. As I was searching the news this morning, trying to figure out what to go over, I noticed that there was a certain congresswoman that got attacked last night. Now, if you guys don't know, Ahmed said Elmi, his sister wife, Illhan Omar, the congresswoman, got attacked. And I say sister wife because, as you guys know, she did marry her own brother in order to keep him in this country. Immigration fraud, all that good stuff. But let's take a look here, and we'll just kind of go over this first, because I think without the proper context of knowing exactly what she does or what she did in order to get her brother here, the story doesn't hit as hard. So, Grim Jones has a great call. Oh, I'm no communist. You know what? I'm gonna have to look at it. I'm gonna put that in right now so I don't forget. Excuse my slow typing. Okay. Grandpa Jones. I'm going to have to save that for later. But until then, let's get this video playing.
Made a few years ago, Congresswoman Illhan Omar tried to knock it down by calling it absurd. Then when the media turned up a wedding certificate, Omar went silent, refusing to make any comments at all, saying she does not talk about her family or personal life. Well, now others are talking.
And her family and personal life are very, very intertwined. So...
like Abdul Hakim Osman, a prominent member of the Minneapolis Somali community, who is now on the record telling the Daily Mail that in 2009, Illhan Omar married her biological brother, Ahmed Saeed Almi, so that he could legally...
Oh, okay. All right. It's Syed. I pronounced it said, but you know what? We speak American here. It's Ahmed Said Elmi. That's his name.
In the U.S. and attend college. At the time, Omar was married to Ahmed Hersey, but it was a religious marriage, meaning there was no Minnesota state record stating that she and Hersey were husband and wife, and so marrying her brother would allow her sibling to get his legal immigration document.
Oh, so you guys, she married her brother legally, so that way he could stay in the U.S., and then had a religious marriage to this dork in order to play cover for it, so she wouldn't, she wouldn't get in trouble.
But Mr. Osman isn't just saying that Omar married her biological brother. He also gave the Daily Mail the name of the Christian minister who married them. That minister reportedly says she does not want to be involved or interviewed about Congresswoman Omar.
Oh, very, very suspicious, right? Doesn't want to be involved. That's no surprise, because I think that they know. I think they know that something's a little fishy there. So, and of course, if you guys didn't know, Steven Crowder actually produced a marriage certificate long before the media was on the case. So there is a marriage certificate of her marrying Ahmed Said Elmi, her brother. So that it is what it is, But let's get on to this attack. Let's see, Aniro here says she's now Ilhan Smollett. This is MAGA country kind of attack. And now a lot of people are speculating that this attack is fake. I will say, I'm not going to pretend to be a security expert on all this stuff, but I will say that most of what happened is highly suspect. I mean, everything from him taking pictures with her to the way he attacked, the way she responded to the attack, how he, and we'll go through this here in a second, but the way he kind of jumps up and then backs away, and her first instinct is to charge. Now, that, I mean, it's possible, but it feels forced. And I don't have any hard proof that this attack was faked per se or staged, right? But it certainly feels forced. Security would have searched him. Give me a break. She ain't that brave. Yeah. Okay. Let's watch this
resign
and see what happened.
Or face impeachment.
Oh.
I don't know.
So everybody immediately knew that she was sprayed with an unknown substance. Now, if in Muslim parts of the world, they do quite a bit of acid attacks. I'm not saying that this, that's what this was, but if you're sprayed with an unknown substance, you shouldn't brush off your own security, and security shouldn't allow you to just brush them off and say, it's fine. We're gonna continue doing this while I leave this acid or this unknown substance on my clothing. None of it seems real. Her level of concern is almost zero, and so it's very, very questionable.
Oh my God, he sprayed something on her.
I need a napkin to know nothing.
She needs a napkin. That's how we're gonna solve the problem.
to go get checked. No,
We will continue. These fucking assholes are not gonna get away
you
with
need
it.
to go get checked. You don't know what
I'm good. I'm good.
That's whatever it is smells so bad. She needs to go get checked.
Yeah, I mean, everybody else is incredibly concerned. TB Camp here says there's no way she wouldn't have stopped to figure out what she just got sprayed with. No, she just said she needed a napkin. I just need a napkin, guys. We're good. We're gonna continue, but everything's fine. Look, the guy got tackled, and you know, it is what it is. There's just no way. I mean, she has a security team, and as far as I know, now I'm not some kind of rich famous person that needs security around me 24/7. So I'm not going to pretend to be the security expert here, but I do have some, you know, a little bit of common sense, and that would kind of dictate that, you know, hey, you should go get checked out. You should probably try and wash that off. You should probably get the clothes off that have the unknown substance. You should probably figure out what the substance was before you just continue your speech in a little room that is apparently so important that some random Trump supporter, you know, the one of those MAGA guys, as you can clearly see from the thumbnail, you know, attacked her. But no, this speech it's too important, guys. It's way too important. We must stand our ground. Good morning, Kitsap County. Glad I got the notification. Hey, I'm glad you're here. Welcome. We're just going over the national news really quick before we hit our local news.
I don't know
That's
what that
that's
was.
what they want. Please don't let them know.
It's not about him, Ilhan. Ilhan, it's not
Come
about
on.
you. It's about your safety. No,
It's like she's trying to pull off the Teddy Roosevelt where you get shot and then just keep going in, you know, with a speech. It's like she, for some reason, she thinks this speech is like, this is what they want. They want to silence me. I'm going to stand up against the fascism.
oh, he sprayed something on you. You need to go get checked. Yeah, and it smells terrible.
It smells terrible.
We're gonna
That's
keep
just
talking.
that's just Ilhan.
Just give me 10 minutes. Just give me 10 minutes. I beg you. Please don't let them have the show. Please don't let them have the show. Please don't let them have the show.
Oh, okay. What do you guys think? You guys think that was fake? It doesn't seem real to me, I'll tell you that much. I just can't get over the fact that the lack of concern from Illhan Omar and the fake kind of posturing that she's showing on how you know, oh no, I must just give me 10 more minutes. It's so important that I get this message out. It is so important that I continue talking to this little room of people. You know, whatever message she was saying apparently is more important than her own safety. And I think the timing of this is also highly suspect, right? It seems just like they're searching for various narratives. Yeah, it's so important. Orange man bad, and this is of course the guy. I just can't get over how silly this is. Is it the end of the world? No. Is it good to attack a Congress lady? No. Especially not the sister wife of the famous Ahmed Said Elmi, right? We got to respect his legacy that he's built here, and the fact that, you know, his sister wife has lived the American dream. She's come over here, leached off taxpayer dollars, and now is worth $30 million or something, right? Definitely important to protect her legacy and as well as his. So I don't know. I just kind of, it just feels like we're just watching this thing play out, and we all just know exactly what's going to happen. We're going to get a tweet from AOC, and it's going to be like, thank God she survived the attack. Oh, we're in such danger. We're fighting against all this fascism and the Nazis coming to fight for Trump, the cult. We're standing up against them. You just know that you're gonna get. Actually, you know what? Let's take a look. Sorry, I'm a little slow with the searching because I gotta type everything left-handed, and it's not as fast as as fast as I would like it to be. Okay, I'll show you guys what I'm searching here. Come on. All right. I'm on AOC's profile. Okay, here we go. I'm okay, I'm a survivor, so this small agitator isn't going to intimidate me from doing my work. I don't let bullies win. Oh, goodness gracious. Come on. Grateful to my incredible constituents who rallied behind me. Minnesota strong. Oh, yeah, okay, here it is. It's not a coincidence that after days of President Trump and VP Vance putting Rep. Omar in their crosshairs with slanderous public attacks, she gets assaulted at her town hall. Thank God she is okay. They want leaders to take down the temperature. They need to look in the mirror. Oh my god. Yeah. Okay. This is exactly what we should have expected. This is exactly what they wanted, is this narrative right here. And this is what all of the lefties and all of the little useful idiots that are burning down the country out in the streets are going to be repeating and justifying their own acts of violence with things like this. Even though there's evidence that it's staged, we don't know for sure. Okay, we can't say that it's... Okay, from this angle, you can see it is very weird. Like, if you're going to attack somebody... He just runs up, sprays her, and then dips. Like he's literally backing up before... Look, he's going away right now. He's like literally walking into security's arms. It's weird.
I don't know.
It's just weird. Like, if you're going to attack somebody... he did spray her pretty good. But the fact that nobody knows what he's saying as he's walking away. And he's like, security, take me. I don't know. Too suspect. And now we know that exactly why they're doing it, so they can get the narrative out that, Trump and Vance put her in the crosshairs and blah, blah, blah. It's retarded for anyone on Trump's side to do this, so it doesn't make sense. Yeah, it especially doesn't make sense that she was just talking about ICE and... there's no way that he's a Trump supporter. And I did see, when I was looking up this morning, let's look here. Illhan Omar. The attacker apparently has a couple of trans kids, and, kind of leans in that weird ideology there. So apparently Andy Kazmirgak is the man who sprayed Ahmed said Elmi's sister wife, Illhan Omar. Seems to have left his kids. Yeah. Does that look like a Trump supporter to you? Does that look like a "this is MAGA country" kind of guy? It's all very suspect. This guy seems awfully calm. Almost seems a little drugged up on something. But... yeah, all of it. It all seems sus. Let's move on from that. I'm done talking about Ahmed's sister wife. In local news, Keith Sheriff Swank. He is the Pierce County elected sheriff, who is the only representative in Washington State that I feel comfortable getting behind. He responded to a press conference that Bob Ferguson had yesterday or the other day, basically asking... Bob Ferguson came out and he was asking the press and various ICE or anti-ICE groups on how he can obstruct the federal government, because not only is he a weak coward, but he also doesn't know what he's doing. So Keith Swank says Governor Bob Ferguson and Attorney General of Washington continue to incite violence towards federal officers. Hidden in the story is how the governor met with and asked the head of the Washington National Guard how the Guard can act as a buffer between federal agents and protesters. Now, just it's something that I've been saying for a little while, is that this sure seems like a seditious conspiracy. If you guys don't know, sedition is basically, or a seditious conspiracy is one or more officials, government representatives, conspiring to go against federal authority. Now, this isn't them coming out and overtly saying that, like, we're going to shoot ICE officials or anything like that, but they are trying to conspire in various different ways to obstruct the federal enforcement of the people's mandate to get illegal immigrants out. I don't know how they get away with this. I truly don't, because it sure seems like nothing is happening. Nothing's coming of it. They're mostly just being ignored. And as you know, Trump is kind of backing down from enforcement in Minnesota, which doesn't give me much hope here in Washington, because they're already conspiring to go against him and obstruct. And we're more concerned about getting Greenland for some reason. Ferguson Brown pledged legal action if ICE violates Washington residents. This is from the Seattle Times. Governor Bob Ferguson and Attorney General Nick Brown are condemning President Donald Trump's aggressive immigration crackdown in Minnesota and say that they're preparing legal options to fight back if a similar operation ramps up in Washington. News conference Monday morning, Ferguson and state officials cannot stop immigration. Said that they cannot stop immigration and customs enforcement from operating here. But he's denounced ICE's tactics, including masked agents snatching people off the streets and breaking into homes without judicial warrants. That whole thing is completely misconstrued. They have a different kind of warrant to go into homes. It's just not the exact process as like your standard police officer needs in order to come into your home. It is literally just a different kind of warrant. And then they're blowing it out of proportion as per usual and banking on people's ignorance in order to paint this picture that they're just, warrantless, going around kicking people's doors in, going door to door, kicking their doors in like the Gestapo, asking, "Where's your papers?" No, that's not what's happening. Seditious conspiracy is a serious federal crime involving two or more people who conspire to overthrow the U.S. government, wage war against it, or use force to prevent execution of federal laws. And that's the use of force to prevent execution of federal laws. He is literally asking the General of the National Guard how to obstruct the enforcement of federal laws by using the National Guard. So, I mean, that sounds like a seditious conspiracy to me. So, exactly. Thank you for putting that up there. Yeah, this is from the people who support red flag raids. Yeah, so they're willing to get a false report on you for a red flag law, and then kick your door in at 4 a.m, guns ablazing, and take your guns. But no, the illegals, the federal officers who get a warrant in a different method to get illegals out of this country, that's a step too far, right? Ferguson and Brown warned they'll be ready to file lawsuits and take other actions to hold the Trump administration and individual ICE agents accountable if they violate the rights of the people in Washington state. See, you notice how they say they violate the rights of the people in Washington state? They don't say the American citizens in Washington state. They're talking about protecting illegals. They are fighting on behalf of foreign nationals. They are working with the National Guard to go against the federal government, against the mandated enforcement of federal laws on behalf of foreign nationals, using the National Guard. This is a seditious conspiracy. The news conference at the state capitol had been scheduled before the weekend killing of Minneapolis Alex Pretty, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares about that dork. America is weaker because of the operations in Minnesota. The real people all across the country are now traumatized, injured, and dead because of this president's fascist tendencies. No, ICE operations are happening all around the country. The only deaths have happened in Minnesota because of the intentional obstruction, impediment, and fighting of the federal ICE agents. It's not because the ICE agents are the Gestapo running around kicking doors in. It is because of these highly coordinated operations to impede, obstruct, and try to get an overreaction out of these ICE agents. They wear them down, and put themselves in precarious situations where it is highly likely that an ICE officer will overreact at some point, and then they can use that story after sacrificing one of their own in order to get stories like this and push this narrative that ICE is the Gestapo and they're going around and violating the people's rights, even though they're talking about illegals. What we're seeing now coming from Washington, D.C. is motivated by hate and bias, and it's guided by the whims of the president. I have such a hard time reading these. I can't even get through one paragraph without just wanting to call this nonsense out. Not the fact, not the courts, and certainly not the United States Constitution. These people are just weak, pathetic men that write articles like this. King County and the city of Seattle on Monday signed on in support of Minnesota's lawsuit seeking to halt massive deployment of immigration agents to the state of Minnesota. The court hearing on Monday morning argued that the enforcement was a campaign of retribution and asked the judge to stop federal operation. Even if it was, who cares? We need to get these illegals out of the country. They're leeching off our system. In an amicus brief joined by dozens of cities and local governments, Seattle and King County wrote that ICE's surge in Minnesota amounted to a military occupation of the Twin Cities. How come they never bring up the militia-style coordinated resistance of federal enforcement? They never bring that up. They just say it's a military occupation of the Twin Cities. Nothing about the very coordinated militia, armed, that's running around the streets tracking these ICE agents. They're in full support of that, but they always downplay. They never actually say that this is a highly coordinated effort. In fact, they want to work with them, right? They argued ICE's actions exceed the authority granted by the Constitution, which reserves powers not delegated to the federal government, blah, blah, blah. They're wrong. The presence of militarized, unidentifiable agents is not making our community safer. The fact that they say unidentifiable like this, it's like the federal government and like they have papers on who all these ICE agents are. They go through a very strict process of weeding out these ICE agents. It's not like they just hire anybody off the street and they're like, all right, let's go catch them foreign nationals. Let's go catch them illegals. No, they go through a very rigorous hiring process. And the reason that they're masked is so that they don't get doxxed on the street. But we all know that, and they all know that, but they want these ICE agents to be identified on social media and targeted and attacked. That's why they're doing this. It's not so much that he is asking the National Guard, it's that when Trump enacts the Insurrection Act, the National Guard then is part of the United States Army. Yeah, I don't see any evidence that Trump will enact the Insurrection Act. The fact that he hasn't done it yet for Minnesota shows me that he's not going to do it at all. He urged Washington lawmakers to quickly pass a bill that would prohibit law enforcement officers from wearing masks. He said, adding that the head of the state's Office of Immigration Assistance to his cabinet meetings and hired a senior immigration policy advisor. Sheriff Swank already said that if they do pass this law, he will not only he won't punish his police for wearing masks, but he will encourage them to do so because he does not recognize their authority. Keith Swank is a badass. He and Brown also rebuked Trump and top administration officials for lying about the Preddy shooting. Ferguson said, this is the important part here. Ferguson said he supports people who are tracking ICE activities, pointing to videos that have contradicted the blah, 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 Minnesota. He said the footage shot by observers. Now, when Ferguson says he supports people who are tracking ICE, he's saying that he supports the coordinated militia that has been roaming the streets of Minnesota and stopping random people, documenting vehicles suspected of being ICE agents, and creating virtually all this chaos. That's what he supports. He supports a militia-style resistance. So, I mean, in a way, that's good news. But you know that if this was a militia-style resistance going against the mandated mask mandate back in 2020 during the government lockdowns, you know, it would have been a lot different. They would have said that there's a white supremacists are going around and doing these. It's also tiresome, guys. But we carry on. I don't know if anything's going to come of this seditious conspiracy that's happening here in Washington State. I do plan on continuing to try and bring awareness to it, and hopefully we can get some actual reporting on what a seditious conspiracy is. Again, TB Camp brought up that seditious conspiracy, 18 U.S.C. 2384, is a serious federal crime involving two or more people who conspire to overthrow the U.S. government, wage war against it, or use force to prevent the execution of federal laws. It covers violent conspiracies to oppose authority, hindering government functions, or seizing of federal property, punishable by up to 20 years in prison. And, I mean, you could argue that our government right now is involved in a seditious conspiracy in order to oppose the federal execution of immigration laws. And I mean, just saying that we're a sanctuary state and trying to use the National Guard against the federal government on behalf of foreign nationals, how's that not a seditious conspiracy? So hopefully we can get some news on that and reporting on that. And it would be nice to see our weak-ass governor, Bob Ferguson, on trial for seditious conspiracy. And it would be fun to see what kind of argument he would have against it. Because to me, it seems like a pretty clear-cut case. It would come down to, states' rights and federal rights. And he would probably argue that, we're just trying to find the legal route to do this and not do it, in a confrontational way, not trying to use violence. We're just trying to use the National Guard to oppose the federal government, and somehow that doesn't constitute as using force. But of course, the ICE agents going around using their protections as federal enforcement, that's overstepping. But using the National Guard to oppose it, that's not using force, right? I don't know. It's all just a joke. So it's all a show, and we're just witnessing it. we're just watching it happen in real time. Isn't history fun? Isn't being part of history fun? Second Civil War. Well, it has been roughly 30 minutes. I think that's a good length of the show. So I will be back at noon. And tonight, I might actually be going on a ruck march with PNW Guerrilla. So we will see what's going on. But let's see. We want everything to be like a TV show where everything is tied up in a pretty bow in less than an hour. Yeah. Kind of like this show today. It's all tied up in a pretty bow. Seditious conspiracy by our government in a staged attack on Ahmed said Elmi's sister wife, Illhan Omar. All right, you guys, take care. We'll see you at noon. God bless you. Have a good day.